Welcome all to the Oklahoma City Thunder networking session with Micah and Landis here. So thank you each for joining us this evening. My name is Peter Bartel. I work in career services here with Southern New Hampshire University. And we're going to kick the session off here in just a minute. I just got a few intro slides to go through. And then Micah and Landis will give you the floor and start the networking session. So I'm going to read the accessibility statement to everybody. Individuals with accessibility needs requiring accommodation may reach out to online students at oac@snhu.edu or 866-305-9430. Campus students, cac@snhu.edu or 603-644-3118. SNHU staff and faculty, hr@snhu.edu, and a request for live captioning or live ASL interpreting requires at least 3 weeks advance notice. Last slide here, and then I'll unshare and we'll get started. Connect with us at any of these ways in career services here. We're all things career readiness. So whether it's resume writing, interview tips, job search, salary negotiation, we're kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to your career readiness, career coaching, career assistance. You see our email at the top there, cocecareer@snhu.edu. The number is 888-672-1458. And then our social media links at the bottom, website, handshakes on there as well. OKC actually recently just connected with us. So Landis and Micah, thanks for getting on Handshake with us. The recruiter for OKC has actually just posted a few neat internships and positions. So some in the creative space as well. So be sure to check those out. But Landis and Micah, I'll give you guys, and Madison's here as well, I'll give you guys the floor. OKC Thunder, and let you guys have at it however you want to take the session. I'm going to stop sharing here.
Yeah, I can do just a quick introduction. My name is Landis Tindell. I'm the manager of corporate communications for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I've been here a little over 2 years. So in my role, I oversee our media relations, which includes press releases and working events, coordinating with media on the ground at events. I also oversee our team that handles internal communications, whether that's intranet stuff, where we have monitors with slides in the office as well. We proofread 1,000 emails and graphics and banners and note cards and all sorts of stuff. I also oversee our weekly newsletter that goes out to about 350,000 subscribers, and then our speakers bureau as well. So all of our speaking engagements that any of our business office staff do oversee that process as well.
All right, I'll introduce myself real quick too. I'm Micah Fryslie. I'm manager of brand design here at the Oklahoma City Thunder. I've been working here for about 7.5 years. I started in 2016. So basically I just work as part of the creative team. We come up with all of the designs for basically anything visual, from like the sign behind us that you see to like our digital assets for social, for websites, print stuff, large scale signage, all that kind of stuff. So we all have we have a big in-house team that kind of works on all of that stuff together as a group. And I also oversee our internships and our production designer position.
Madison, it is just you, so that is great for you. Take this however you guys want. I'm here. I didn't go away. I'm just in the background. You guys do you.
Yeah, Madison, I mean, if you have questions or want to know anything about sports or communications or whatever,
Yeah, I feel like we can keep it pretty conversational.
Oh,
We
what
can
do you
talk about
guys
stuff in
got?
specific if you have any questions, but
Yeah.
What do you guys got for me? Like, how did you guys get into your jobs?
Yeah, I had worked in some communication roles before this. So I worked in government communications and then in the tourism and entertainment industry for a little bit, and saw this position open, applied, found out that the person who's now my boss I knew through an organization called PRSA, which is a national public relations organization. And so just reached out to her and said, "Hey, I applied. Like, would love to learn more, talk more." And then interviewed, got the job, and Thunder was my team when they moved here. I was a Seattle. I was a Sonics fan when I was a kid. When I was living on the West Coast, and then we moved to Tulsa, and the Thunder followed shortly thereafter. So it was cool just to be able to come work for in the sports industry, and especially for a team that I had followed my whole life. So.
Yeah, so I got this job pretty much straight out of college. I graduated from design school in 2016, and then I just applied for a million different jobs, and I ended up getting an interview here, and it sort of just kind of worked out. I wasn't super into sports, so it wasn't like I was trying to land a job specifically in sports before I started. But since then, like I've come to love basketball. I mean, it's hard not to when you're just like in it every single day. So yeah, I don't know. It was really just kind of like I happened to be in the right place at the right time kind of thing. But
Like, how often do the Thunder, how often do they like open positions on the creative team?
the question was how often do we have openings? So we have specifically, like I said, I'm over internships and then the production designer position. We actually just hired someone new for the production designer role, so she just started like a couple days ago. But we also have 3 internships a year. We have a summer internship, we have a fall internship, and we have a spring internship. And currently right now we're actually like hiring for several new positions within the design team. There's currently let's see, 1, 2, including the person we just hired, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, including myself plus my boss, on the team. And then we're hiring 2 more positions, so a graphic designer position and then actually a creative copywriting position.
Yeah, we don't have internships in corporate communications. We used to, but we found the transition a little difficult because about the time we got people up to speed on what we needed them to do, it was time for them to finish their internship. So we have a year-long part-time position, and then we participate in a program through the NBA called the HBCU Fellowship. And so that's for students that attend historically Black colleges and universities. And then I do know there are other internships in the organization, in like our marketing department, which has a hand in paid social and some of the creative side of fan development and that kind of stuff. Then there's also social media internships, and then like our events and entertainment department have them to pretty much year round for we have like a production team, so they kind of build some of their own motion graphics and things for in arena events. So there's definitely opportunities throughout the organization.
So what's your favorite part about working for a sporting team?
I'll say for me personally, it's a really fun like work environment. It's very like everyone within the corporation, you know, like it's very like fast paced and stuff, but also like you kind of get the ebbs and flows of like game days feel a little bit different than other days. There's like some days where there's a little less energy, but then when game day hits, it's like, oh, you know, the office is kind of a buzz. And it's also fun just to like be able to like be here where the games happen, you know? You get to like see that on game days and stuff like that. And then also I think getting to see like the behind the scenes stuff. That's what I'm like super into. And I think like specifically within graphics, you know, it's like we don't have to actually like work game days. We work on everything ahead of time. All of our stuff needs to be done beforehand. Otherwise, like people aren't going to have what they need for whatever they're doing during the game. So I kind of like the behind the scenes aspect of it.
Yeah, mine's pretty similar. I mean, the people here are great, and we work hard to like build a good culture, and like that's part of our like our vision, our mission is about you know, not only a great guest experience, but you know, we really focus on that internally too. And then yeah, I mean, it's just an opportunity. The job I was in before, like I was the only communications person, so I was kind of doing everything. I was doing website updates and some graphic design and photography and you know traditional PR and whatever. And so it was just nice for me to be in a place where I could really just focus on you know the communication side of things and let people who are much more talented than me in graphic design do that job, and you know people who are much better photographers do that job, and then you know be able to focus on bringing it all together and really working on the communication side of it.
So Madison, you mentioned that you're over at Churchill Downs. What do you do over there?
So my main job is in ticket sales. So I'm like a consumer sales rep. So we have a sales department, and then we've got premium, which is a focus in Oaks and Derby, and then groups, which is like regular date race, but 12 or more people. And then there's special events, which is like weddings and stuff. And then there's memberships, which is the turf club. I think that's all. But I kind of like focus in all of them. So I'm on all of those lines. But yeah, I just talk to people all day, sell tickets, and then when race days roll around, they kind of like let me do whatever. If it's like a Saturday or Sunday and I'm not here working in a dining room, they're totally fine with me going down to the track and doing photography.
Okay, cool. Is that kind of like what you want to get into is photography stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. That's good to know. We do actually have we have a couple like dedicated photographers on staff who are super awesome. One of them, Zach Beaker, shoots for us, but also like for the NBA, and just like he does a ton of stuff. And then we also have Jimmy Doe, our other staff photographer. He's great about like capturing just anything we might need. I feel like we're always asking him for like fan photography specifically because we need that for ads and stuff. But yeah.
Definitely interesting. I mean, I can walk out and see the track. And you kind of lose sight of how cool it is almost every single day. You never really stop and understand like, hey, I'm here at this place that people would give an arm and a leg to come to, and I get to come here every day.
Yeah, and I would say too, I mean, you may already have, do you have like an online portfolio of photography and stuff?
Yeah, let me go ahead and get it real fast.
I had a question while she's getting that. Just for me, I'm just curious. On game days, Landis, you may have told me this before, but do you guys work? Because there's what, like 70 or 80 something games in an NBA season. So half of that is home games. Do you work like extra hours on home games, or how does that work for you guys?
For me, it's not every game. You know, there's 4 of us on the PR team, so if somebody needs to be here, it's not always all of us, and when we need to be here, it's usually because it's something like we had a Hispanic Heritage Night in February, and so Telemundo and some of the Hispanic speaking outlets wanted to come and cover like what we were doing to talk about Hispanic Heritage Night. And so they were here, you know, just kind of taking pictures and video and talking to people that were here at the game, and like they were gone by halftime. And so, you know, it's those kinds of things that we're here for games. Playoffs, maybe a different story, you know, kind of an all hands on deck kind of thing. But like Micah said, we're kind of lucky, you know, we're not sales, we're not events and entertainment, we're not guest relations where we have to be here every game because we have a piece in, you know, kind of that game day experience.
Yeah, that makes sense. So Micah, is it similar for you?
Yeah, it very much, because like it depends on the department. A lot of people do have to work every single game. Even for a lot of those departments though, like for inside sales, I know that they have started doing like a rotation. So they work the majority of the games, but every once in a while they get to have a game off, which is kind of nice. But yeah, for us specifically, like I said, most of our stuff needs to get done on the front end. The exception to that is we have 2 digital designers who work with the social team to post social graphics throughout the game. So they do have to work that and the weekends, actually. But again, it's split up between the 2 of them, so they kind of like you get one game off, somebody works.
Gotcha.
The next
That's
game.
Not bad. Kind of cool. Gotcha. Thanks.
Yeah, Madison, I saw your portfolio. That's great. I mean, that's a great place to have everything, and your photos are really good. So that's a great thing to have.
Thank you.
I saw on your LinkedIn,
cool.
Maybe how do you know Grant Wright?
Oh yeah, really?
Oh god.
Yeah.
I think I just see people on there and I just add them just in case.
Oh, okay.
I'm not 100%
sure. Let's see. He worked at Churchill Downs. He was a mansion concierge, premium sales for 2 months, and then he worked at the Louisville Bats.
That's probably why.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't know him while he was here, I don't think.
Okay. Yeah, it says April and May
I don't really
2022.
Oh yeah, no, I started in August, so he was gone before I got here.
Well, he was at the Louisville Bats, it says in August. So yeah, he works for us now in corporate partnership. So
okay. Yeah, I haven't been to a Bats game yet. I do need to get over there for that though.
Yeah, I love your website. Your website layout is really nice.
Yeah.
So, like, what does a normal day-to-day for you guys look like?
For me, it looks like we get here, office hours are from 8:30 to 5:30. We get an hour lunch break. It's a little bit flexible, but not too much. You know, like sometimes people roll in between like 8:30 and 9. But basically I'll get here, check emails first thing. A lot of times, especially this time of the year, there's like a hot project that needs to get updated or sent out for approval. So I'll check in with Scott and Nicole, who are our project managers, and see if there's any projects that I need to like tackle first thing, kind of just make sure. And then after that, I'll do some design stuff, submit that for approval. And then I also usually like afternoon, a little bit later on in the day, I'll start checking like email approvals. So I'm on like all external stuff that has our brand on approvals for those. So I'll go through and check like corporate partnership approvals, that kind of stuff. And then towards the end of the day, it's usually just like finishing up anything that needs to be done that day. And that's not including meetings. I usually have like 1 or 2 meetings a day, but
yeah, it's cliche for me, but it's, you know, every day is a little bit different. But like I said, I write all of our like press releases and media advisories and schedule those. So there's always something that I'm writing that's going to go out. I make calls to news stations to follow up with them on stories and things like that. A lot of meetings. We have our content team's pretty robust. When you think about all the things we talked about: graphic design, website, digital photography, social media. So meetings about that, and then we get brought into meetings too about other things going on. So I think about like what have we done recently? Well, like playoffs. We're talking about playoffs and all the things that different departments have tentative plans for. And so we really want to be in on those meetings so we can communicate all these great things that are happening in all our different departments, whether that's ticket offers or what's happening in the community or whatever. And then a lot of proofreading every day, a lot of working on email communications, and our newsletter is a big thing that takes quite a bit of time every week to get that out on Thursdays, to work on those stories and gather photography and get it all laid out and everything.
So I know, Micah, you said that you hadn't aimed to work in sports. What about you, Landis? Did you aim to work in sports, or was this kind of something you applied for and got?
I liked sports. I did some sports when I was an undergrad. I worked at our campus news station and was like the sports anchor on TV for a while at the TV station. I did some play-by-play broadcasting, and some sports, sideline reporting stuff for an online streaming company that covers high school and D2 college sports. So I like sports. I'm a sports fan. I've always, was like, oh, that'd be a cool industry to work in. But I also, there's lots of cool PR jobs out there. So I was looking at things in entertainment and, tourism and, whatever. When I was working in state government, kind of the only thing I thought about a lot was whenever I tell somebody where I work, I don't want them to be like, oh, what is that? It start with oh, I work at Apple. Okay, everybody, even if they don't know what you do specifically, they know what Apple is. So we're a lot closer now. There's still some people who don't know who the Thunder are just because they don't follow basketball or sports at all. But it's a lot more people now than it was when I worked in state government. So.
Yeah, there's still some people where I'll call them and say, okay, this is Maddie with Churchill Downs, and they're like, what? That thing every year where we host the biggest racehorse ever, or the biggest racing. I have no idea what you're talking about. It's well, you submitted an inquiry about wanting to come to the Derby. So do you want to talk about that or not?
Yeah. Are you wanting to stay in Louisville? Are you wanting to move somewhere? What's for you?
I like Louisville. There are definitely the bad parts. I wouldn't go any more south of Churchill. And I do kind of live just up the road. There will be nights where I'm sitting in my apartment and hear something and think, yeah, it's definitely a gunshot. So it gets a little sketchy, but I do like the city. There's a lot to do. And then it's in close proximity to Cincinnati and then Indianapolis as well. So it's got a lot going on, and they'll just have fun events all the time. This past weekend, they had a Bach Fest. They literally shut down a street downtown and just had baby goat races. So that was a lot of fun. But, if the opportunity should arise, but if there were a photography position open, then I would apply for it.
Yeah, two things I would say if you don't already know about them. There's a Teamwork Online. That's kind of the central hub for sports jobs. Okay, good. And then there's the NCAA Marketplace for college sports. That's kind of where a lot of those jobs get posted too.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely on Teamwork. I haven't heard about the other one though.
Yeah, that's it's not as well known, but a lot of colleges post their sports jobs there.
Definitely, like, I like college sports. I like professional sports more, but college sports are always fun to work too. I mean, that was my first job with all the pictures back there. I worked for my first college's football team, and that was a blast. I loved it while it lasted, but got this job and couldn't pass it up. So I'm sorry if you guys can hear the vacuum in the background. I don't know if I'm supposed to be here this late, but oh well.
No worries.
You guys are based out of Oklahoma City, right?
Yes. We
How
are
you guys like that?
smack in the middle of downtown OKC. I like it a lot. I'm from Colorado, is where I grew up, Colorado Springs. So it's a little different here. When I first moved here, I was like, oh, I want to go back to Colorado as soon as I can. But I've been here for like 12 years now. So kind of getting to I can't really say Colorado anymore. I like it. It's a really people are like, oh, Oklahoma City doesn't seem like there's like probably much there. But there's like a surprising amount of things to do. And I know I'm a pretty simple guy. There's lots of good places to eat, stuff to like do outdoorsy stuff, and that's pretty much enough for me. So yeah.
Yeah, I moved around a lot as a kid. We moved to Tulsa in 2006. So I went to high school there and then went to college in Arkansas. And when I was finishing college, I said the two things I didn't want to do were work in government and stay in Oklahoma. And then that's exactly what happened. So, but it worked out because the state like paid for my master's, so that was helpful. And then I came here. I've been in Oklahoma City since 2017, so it worked out.
I'm running out of questions. Can you guys hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. I had to switch around some stuff because my computer was dying. But
If you guys want to conclude early, it's scheduled till 6, but like I said, take it how you want, and if you want to wrap up whenever you want to wrap up, that's cool.
What do you want to know, Peter? What questions you got?
Madison got me thinking about one. Now I can't remember it. I guess, when you guys are looking to hire folks, interview folks, what's kind of the first thing that you go to for creative folks? Like, do you go to a LinkedIn? Do you want to see, like, you ask for a portfolio? Other social media outlets?
Yeah. So usually when I'm hiring, if the first thing is just like, portfolio. That's the biggest thing. That's just going to give you like a snapshot of what the person's capable of and stuff. So that's pretty important. From there, I'd say, like I'll check out social media, see what their social media is like, see if they post stuff there, or if if it's just like a personal one, that's fine too. Yeah, then after that, I don't know. Usually like I'll connect with people on LinkedIn, but I don't look at that too much. It's really just like the portfolio. I want to see like their eye for design and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's really just like I want to make sure people are a good like culture fit. Are you personable? Are you easy to get along with? Because even if you don't have like the craziest portfolio in the world, like if you're like willing to learn and you're like you get along with people well, that's like a really big thing, I think.
Yeah.
I heard. Go ahead, Landis. Go ahead.
No, go for it.
On Micah's point, I heard a quote recently on like, it was on LinkedIn. It was some lady like just like something to think about, and it was, would you work for you? And it got me thinking, like, I think it was mainly asked from a management lens, but speaking to soft skills, like even as an individual contributor, right? If you're at a company and not a manager, like, would you want to interact with your colleagues? You know what I mean? If based on how you're approaching them or communicating with them, or so I thought that was interesting. I just wanted to share that. I appreciate, Micah, what you said about soft skills. That's, we all know, I'm sure that's like absolutely imperative. It's where it starts and doesn't stop necessarily. Like, you need the hard skills, but I mean, without the soft skills, it's unbearable. So
Yeah, and for me, like, I can teach you the sports stuff that you need to know. Like, there are
Yep.
plenty of people here that don't know anything about basketball or the Thunder or like whatever. I can teach you that part. And so I look for, really good like writing skills. That's a big thing on our end. And then, yeah, like Micah said, you may have the best portfolio and the best work example, and we've had this happen. Like, the really best examples, but it took so much effort to get stuff out of you, like in an interview.
Yeah.
That we ended up picking a different person that had similar, still excellent work, but what seemed like a much better, culture fit for us. So, and then, I always talk about cover letters, like always a great place to like let your personality shine a little bit and get away from the resume and the LinkedIn. Like, photography and graphic design is nice because you can kind of show your personality and your style. PR not so much. So cover letters great on our end that we can, kind of see your personality and your writing a little bit.
During your times with the Thunder, you might have mentioned this before. Have you all been in the same roles with the club since you started?
Not well, kind of. I mean, not for me specifically. I started off as just a standard graphic designer, and then I
Gotcha.
moved about a year ago into more of a management position.
Oh, cool.
But
Okay.
that's the only change I've made. I didn't move like departments or anything like that, but some people do.
Right.
So,
Congrats, by the way.
thank you.
And Landis, you started as manager of corporate communications, right?
Yeah, I got hired
Okay,
as the
cool.
role that I'm in. Only thing that's
Yeah.
really changed is we've created and have this second person now on my team.
So I guess my question on that is, like, I think this happens a lot, right? Like Micah said it, you just got to get into an organization or a company and you see, wow, this looks really awesome. I don't love what I'm doing right now. Maybe you do. But this looks really neat. I would hate to do this. I might like to do this, but I think that's something that's missed a lot with people is like, and I think Madison, like, that's a great approach, right? Like, just get in, like you said, with what you were doing streamlined photography, but what you're doing now, like by title, your ticket sales, but look what happened. Like, I mean, you're able to leverage that and now do photography for them as well. It's not positioned by title, but it's a skill you have, and that you can do there. And I just think that that's so, like, it's frustrating, right? I think people too often get siloed into like, no, this isn't what I went for or want to go for. So I'm not even going to work for the company at all. Like, collect the paycheck, get in. I hate to say it like that, but like, get the experience and then feel it around and see what you want to do.
Yeah, it's a kind of a double-sided coin because we have a ton of people that like started as game day staff, just working game nights, helping
Yep.
move chairs and put out, hand out programs and that kind of stuff, that do go on to become full-time staff. But on the flip side, I get a ton of applications when we have open positions that are completely unrelated to skill set in PR. that do there's like, hey, I'm just trying to get my foot in the door. Like they say that in
Yeah.
their cover letter, and like I keep like, I need somebody that has the writing skills, and Micah needs somebody that has the graphic design skills. And I don't know that this is every place. Our system for applications that we use, I can see what else you've applied to, and I can see that you've applied to every single job in our organization for the last year and a half. And if people use the system the way they're supposed to, I can see their notes about if they interviewed them, what they thought,
Yeah.
like what their ranking was. And so, I can pretty much automatically know, like, and this happened, like, oh, you applied for our internship. You also applied to be our vice president of team legal. Like, no, like I'm just
Yeah.
moving. That's just waste of my time at that point. So,
Yeah.
but we get a ton of people that do the game night part-time stuff. They have another job, they do that, and they work their way into full-time work.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it depends a little bit on the position for sure.
I couldn't help but notice the pecan or pecan above you earlier, Micah.
Oh
That's
yeah. One of our designers does like a weekly poll, and then we all vote on what we would say. Yeah. I guess you guys can participate if you want. Is it pecan or pecan or
Landis, did you vote
pecan?
yet?
I haven't voted yet, but it's pecan. No, sorry, pecan with an H.
Madison, what do you got?
Pecan.
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 That's always. What about like I say bagel? Do you guys say bagel or bagel?
Oh,
Bagel.
oh my goodness.
Bagel.
Definitely bagel.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met anybody else that said bagel besides my sister. But
Oh,
Well,
when I
there's
was living up in Wisconsin, they used to say like egg is egg. Like it's
Yeah.
an egg, but whatever.
like AAG. Yeah, I was actually, I lived in Colorado and I grew up there, but I was born in South Dakota. So I definitely have like a lot of family that, yeah, they've got the South Dakota accent. So all right, well, I'm trying to think if there's anything else just like that would be useful information to share. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
you guys have each other's, I'm assuming, like contact info at this point. Madison, did you pull their LinkedIn's from the chat?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. And then Landis and Micah, you have her info, the portfolio, which is awesome. Madison, good job having that ready, because I'm sure these two can attest to, like, you'd like to think every person in whatever their niche is like fully ready with materials in hand, but it's not always the case, and the interview is over before it starts. So good job. But thank you guys. I'll Micah or Landis, did you have anything last minute, or Madison?
Can't think of anything. I mean, it was very nice to meet you. I enjoyed talking.
It was good.
Madison, I think it might have froze for me at least, but I think we heard of you too. So appreciate
Yeah.
everybody hopping on. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yes.
We hear you.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Well, is that talking?
All right. Thank you guys. Everybody have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
You too.
Bye.